Meet Rahul, Priya, and Arjun. Same age, same city, same marks in school. All three grew up in the same middle-class neighborhood in Pune. All three started their careers at 22 with big dreams and very little money. Today, they are 45. Rahul took the government job everyone told him was safe and boring. His cousins made fun of him at family dinners. Sarkari Naukri, what are you going to do, Ashu? Push files all day? Priya joined a private company because she wanted growth and money. She moved to Bangalore, rented a flat in Koramangala, and posted pictures from office parties on Instagram. And Arjun? Arjun started his own business because he genuinely could not sit in a cubicle. He had fire in his eyes at 24. Everyone called him brave. Today, Rahul has a pension, a paid-off house, and takes his family on 3 holidays a year. He has never once worried about salary day in his life. Priya earns 1,80,000 rupees a month. She has almost nothing saved. Every salary hike she ever got absorbed by a better apartment, a fancier phone, a loan for a car she didn't really need. And Arjun? He made 90 lakh rupees in his best year and went completely broke the year after. Same starting point. 3 completely different financial lives. This video is not about which choice is better. There is no single right answer. And anyone who tells you there is selling something. This is about the real math behind each path. The salary, yes, but also the pension, the hidden perks, the savings rate, the lifestyle traps, and the retirement reality. The things nobody puts in a YouTube thumbnail. Stay with me till the end, because what actually determines which path wins might surprise you, and it has almost nothing to do with the path itself. Let me give you the scale of what we are talking about before we go path by path. India has roughly 5 crore central and state government employees today. Teachers, clerks, engineers, officers, doctors in government hospitals, all the way up to IAS and IPS officers. 5 crore people whose entire financial lives run on one system. The organized private sector employs about 8 to 9 crore people in IT, manufacturing, banking, retail, logistics, consulting. These are the people whose salary packages show up in LinkedIn posts and newspaper headlines. And then there is the third world, the self-employed, the business owners, the entrepreneurs. MSME data tells us there are over 6.5 crore registered and unregistered businesses in India. They contribute 30% of India's GDP and employ over 11 crore people. The business path is actually the largest employer in the country. You just don't see it trending on Twitter. Let's go one by one. And let's be completely honest. The government job. For decades, this was the choice that got you a gold star from your parents and side eyes from your peers. The Sarkari Naukri. Stable, pensioned, and supposedly dull. So what does it actually look like in rupees in 2026? Under the 7th Pay Commission, which still governs salaries for India's 33 lakh central government employees and 14 lakh armed forces personnel, an entry-level graduate joining at level 7, a common starting point for engineers and officers, draws a basic pay of 44,900 rupees per month. Most people hear that number and laugh. 44,000? My private sector friend earns more than that in his second year. And that comparison is exactly where everyone goes wrong. Because a government salary is not a number, it is a package. And once you add everything in, it looks completely different. On top of that basic pay, the government adds a dearness allowance, which, as of January 2026, stands at 60% of basic. That is another 26,900 rupees every single month. This allowance goes up automatically twice a year based on inflation. Since 2016, DA has been revised 23 times, from 0% to 60% in a decade, which means a government employee's salary effectively more than doubled over that period, not because of promotions, not because of job hopping, simply because they showed up and stayed. Then add the house rent allowance of 27% of basic for metro cities, another 12,100 rupees. Add travel allowance of around 3,600 rupees. Total gross in hand at level 7, entry level, in a metro city, approximately 87,000 rupees per month. And that is under the current 7th Pay Commission. The 8th Pay Commission, approved in principle currently under consultation, is expected to raise salaries by 25 to 30%, likely implemented in 2027, with arrears from January 2026. If the fitment factor lands at 2.86, the minimum basic pay alone jumps from 18,000 to roughly 51,000 rupees overnight, with a lump sum arrears check. That is not speculation. It is based on the official terms of reference already submitted. But the salary is honestly not the most powerful part of the government path. The pension is. Under the old pension scheme, which covers everyone who joined government service before 2004, a retiring employee receives 50% of their last drawn salary as a pension, every single month for the rest of their life. Their spouse continues to receive it after they die. No market risk, no SIP calculations, no praying that the Nifty doesn't crash the year before you retire. Think about what that actually means. If Rahul retires at level 12 with a basic pay of 1 lakh rupees, his pension is 50,000 rupees a month, guaranteed from age 60 until the day he dies. If he lives to 85, that is 25 years of 50,000 rupees arriving in his account automatically every month without him lifting a finger. No fund manager, no sequence of returns anxiety, just money, guaranteed. And then there are the hidden perks that never show up on any salary comparison chart, but absolutely should. The central government health scheme covers the employee, their spouse, their children, and their dependent parents. Not just doctor visits, major surgeries, cancer treatment, dialysis, all at empaneled hospitals for nearly free. A private health insurance policy with equivalent coverage would cost 40,000 to 80,000 rupees per year. Government employees get it free for their entire working life, and it continues after retirement. Government housing, in many cities, an employee can get a subsidized quarter in a location the open market would charge a fortune for. In Delhi, senior officers live in bungalows in Lutyens' zone worth crores in monthly rent for almost nothing. 30 earned leaves per year, 8 casual leaves, medical leave, plus all national and regional holidays. The number of actual working days for a government employee is significantly fewer than in the private sector, and that gap in time has real value, especially when you have a family. And job security, Article 311 of the Indian Constitution, makes it nearly impossible to fire a confirmed government employee without a full disciplinary inquiry. There is no such thing as a government layoff. No recession arrives, and 50,000 people receive pink slips. That protection is invisible on a salary slip, but it has enormous financial value across a 30-year career. The honest downsides? Growth is structured and slow. You move up based on seniority, not brilliance. You will not become wealthy from a government salary alone. A solid officer retiring after 30 years retires comfortably, not rich. Transfers are real. If you are in the All India services, you go where you are posted. And the highest paying government roles, IAS, IPS, IFS, require clearing an examination with a pass rate under 0.1%. But the overall picture, the government job is one of the most underrated financial paths in India. Most people dismiss it based on the basic pay number, without ever calculating the full lifetime value of what comes with it. Now, the private sector. And this is where the promises get big. And so do the traps. The average salary hike in Indian private companies in 2026 is 9.1%, according to Aon's survey of over 1,000 companies across 45 industries. Sounds good, until you realize inflation is running at 5 to 6%. Your real purchasing power is growing by about 3 to 4%. You are getting a raise on paper. In your actual wallet, things are barely moving. The salary spread is enormous. IT freshers start at 3 to 5 lakh per annum. A mid-level software engineer with 5 to 7 years earns 10 to 15 lakh. A senior engineer or product manager at a top product company, 25 to 50 lakh or more. An AI engineer in 2026 commands 18 to 40 lakh per annum, with demand growing at 25% year on year. The skills premium for specialists over generalists has widened to 32 to 47%, meaning if you have the right skill, the market is paying a serious premium for it right now. But here is the number that matters for the average Indian, not the IIT graduate at a product company, but the actual average. Across all of private India, IT, yes, but also manufacturing, retail, hospitality, media, logistics, the average private sector employee earns around 40,000 rupees per month before taxes, which is not very different from the government employee people were laughing at. Now here is the silent killer of private sector wealth that nobody talks about enough. The lifestyle trap. Every salary hike gets absorbed. The phone upgrade, the car EMI, the apartment in a better society, the foreign holiday, the MBA loan. And the numbers back this up brutally. Household savings as a percentage of national income in India fell from 11.7% to 5.2%, the lowest in 47 years. This is not because people are investing more. It is because consumption got expensive and people started borrowing to fund it. 33% of monthly Indian salaries now go to EMI payments. 45% of middle-class families spend over 40% of their income just servicing debt. Most of these families are private sector households. Priya earns 1,80,000 rupees a month by age 42. She is good at her job. She upskills. She gets good hikes. She is genuinely capable. But she pays 35,000 in rent in Bangalore, 18,000 in car EMI, 12,000 on a personal loan she took for a trip to Europe at 36, 15,000 in credit card bills. By the time the school fees and household expenses are paid, she is saving maybe 20,000 rupees a month, which is less, as a percentage of income, than a government employee drawing half her salary. That is the private sector trap at its clearest. High income, high spending, and at the end of the month, almost nothing left. And then there is the job security reality that nobody likes to talk about while they are posting about their FANG offer on LinkedIn. In 2025, 11,223 Indian startups shut down in just the first 10 months, 37 businesses closing every single day. Even large established IT companies have done major layoffs in the last 3 years. There is no Article 311 protecting you. When the project ends, the funding dries up, or AI replaces your role. There is nothing between you and zero income, except your own savings. And if the EM ate those savings, that moment is genuinely terrifying. Here's what the private sector gets genuinely right, though. Upside. If you are in the right skill at the right time, private employment can transform your financial life in a way no government job can match. AI specialists, cloud architects, cybersecurity professionals, these people are commanding hikes of 12 to 15% in a year, where the average is 9. The ceiling is real and it is high, but it belongs to a relatively small slice of the workforce. It is not the average experience. The private sector works beautifully for exactly one type of person, someone who earns well, invests ruthlessly from their very first salary, resists lifestyle inflation at every step, and treats every hike as a savings rate increase, not a spending budget increase. That person exists, but they are rare. And now the path everyone romanticizes and nobody talks honestly about: business. Let me start with a number nobody puts in an entrepreneurship reel. Between 2023 and 2025, 39,860 Indian startups shut down. In just the first 10 months of 2025 alone, 11,223 closures, 37 businesses dying every single day. The global startup failure rate is 90%. First-time Indian founders have a success rate of 18%. And underneath those numbers sits a darker truth. Many businesses that are technically alive are what people in the industry quietly call zombies, running with 1 or 2 employees, no real growth, no real profit, just surviving. Because closing officially would mean admitting failure. Count these, and the real failure rate is even higher than 90%. The first 3 years of a business in India look nothing like the Instagram version. Most founders start with family money, personal savings, or informal loans, because formal bank credit is nearly impossible to get. The MSME credit gap in India is over 25 lakh crore rupees. Only 16 to 20% of small businesses ever access formal credit. The rest borrow from informal lenders at rates that make credit cards look generous. Compliance alone, GST filings, licenses, labor laws, costs a small business 10 to 13 lakh rupees per year. And all of this is happening while your batchmate Priya is posting from her Koramangala office about work-life balance, and you are eating dal chawal trying to make next month's payroll. This phase is brutal. Most businesses that fail here. Not because the idea was bad, because the cash ran out before the idea could be properly tested. If you survive into year 4 or 5, things begin to shift. Revenue becomes real. You start paying yourself. Maybe 60,000, maybe a lakh a month. Not glamorous, but yours. And everything you learned in the survival phase about customers, about margins, about how people actually spend money versus how they say they will, becomes the foundation of everything that comes next. From year 8 or 10 onwards, if the business has found its footing, the picture can change completely. This is where Arjun made 90 lakh rupees in 1 year, where he paid himself 30 lakh rupees personally, where it finally felt like the risk had been worth every sleepless night. And then the client canceled. Input costs spiked. The very next year, he made 8 lakh rupees total. 1 year, 90 lakh. The next year, 8 lakh. That is the business reality nobody puts on a motivational poster. The variance is the whole game. The government employee has no variance. The business owner lives inside it. There is one genuine advantage business has over both other paths, and it quietly compounds for decades if you use it right. Tax. A salaried employee pays income tax on their gross salary with limited deductions. A business owner pays tax on profit, which is revenue minus all legitimate business expenses. Office rent, equipment, fuel, software, travel, salaries, all deductible before tax is calculated. If structured honestly and correctly, this is a real and significant long-term advantage that the other two paths cannot access. What business does not give you? EPF, DA, pension, or health insurance unless you buy it yourself. Your retirement corpus is entirely what you extract from business profits and invest in parallel. Some business owners build extraordinary wealth. Many retire with almost nothing because they kept reinvesting, kept surviving, and never once sat down to build personal wealth alongside the business. The business was the plan, and then the business changed. Arjun sold 30% of his company at 52 for 2 crore 40 lakh rupees. Used it to build an investment portfolio for the first time in his life. At 60, he had 3 crore 20 lakh across investments, a property he bought at 45, and the business still generating income. Comfortable retirement. But it arrived after 30 years of enormous risk, 2 complete financial resets, and years of stress that Rahul never experienced once. Was it worth it? For Arjun, yes. For most people, the honest answer is no. Because most people enter the business path with Arjun's confidence, but not his resilience, his timing, or his luck. So where does this leave us? On salary ceiling. Government is moderate, capped by the pay commission structure. Private is high, but only for the skilled minority. Business has no ceiling and a 90% failure rate that prevents most people from finding it. On job security, government wins completely. No contest, constitutional protection, no layoffs, no AI replacement letters. On retirement, government wins again, specifically because of the pension. A guaranteed 50,000 rupees every month for life beats a self-built corpus for most people, because most people do not invest as consistently as they plan to. We all know this about ourselves. On hidden perks, government is wildly underestimated. CGHS, housing, and leave structure add 5 to 10 lakh rupees of real equivalent value every year on top of the salary. Nobody calculates this in those salary comparison posts. On wealth building, business wins in theory. In practice, for the median person, the private sector with disciplined investing actually beats entrepreneurship because it delivers consistent income to invest rather than a roller coaster of great years and catastrophic ones. And on lifestyle freedom, the thing everyone thinks business delivers instantly, the truth is that in the early years, the founder has the least freedom of all three. Rahul clocks out at 5. Priya has a weekend. Arjun is on his laptop at 11 on Sunday night because Monday's payroll needs to be sorted. Here's what I want you to carry from this video. 3 things nobody says clearly enough. The government job math is far more powerful than it looks. Most people dismiss it based on the basic pay number. They never calculate the pension, the CGHS, the housing, the DA compounding quietly for decades. A central government level 10 officer retiring after 30 years with a guaranteed pension, a paid-off house, and lifetime health coverage is in a better financial position than a private sector employee earning twice as much who never built a real portfolio. The numbers actually work out this way, regularly. In the private sector, your salary is a trap as much as it is an opportunity. 33% of Indian salaries go to EMI. If you earn 1.5 lakh rupees and save 15,000 per month, you are being outpaced by a government employee at 80,000 who saves 20. The math is never about the income. It is always about the gap between income and spending. And most businesses in India are not freedom, they are survival. The entrepreneurship content you consume shows you Zepto and the founder who raised Series B at 26. It does not show you the 37 businesses that closed yesterday, or the founder on his third reset who still hasn't told his parents. Choosing a government job when you have dependents and limited capital is not playing it safe. It is playing it smart. Don't let Instagram decide what counts as brave. So which path is actually right for you? Choose government if you value stability above upside, if you have dependents relying on your consistent income, and if you want to retire without ever worrying about the market. If you can clear the exam, seriously consider it. Choose private sector if you have skills the market genuinely wants right now: AI, cloud, data, cybersecurity, and if you have the discipline to invest from your very first salary and keep investing no matter what. The hike is only the beginning. Where the money goes after the hike is everything. Choose business if, and only if, you have a validated idea, not just a passionate one. If you have 18 to 24 months of savings as personal runway before you quit your job. And if you can honestly answer yes to this question, can I sleep at night when revenue is zero, not confident in a good month, actually calm in a bad year? If the honest answer is yes, the ceiling is real and it is worth it. But here is the thing that ties all three together, and this is the line I want you to remember. A government employee who invests their surplus from age 25 will retire wealthier than a private sector employee who upgraded their lifestyle with every hike. A private sector investor who puts 25% of every take-home into equities, rain or shine from their first job will build a corpus most entrepreneurs never match. And a business owner who builds personal wealth in parallel, not just revenue, but actual investments, can create generational wealth in 15 years that no salary can touch. The path is the vehicle. Your financial discipline is the engine. Rahul, Priya, and Arjun started from the same place. None of their choices was objectively wrong, but one of them understood the full picture before choosing. The rest found out later, at 45, when it was harder to change. You are watching this now. That already puts you ahead. Share this with one person in your life who is standing at this exact crossroads. Not to tell them what to choose, but to make sure they are choosing with real numbers, not assumptions. And if you haven't watched our video on rent versus buying a home in India, the hidden math, watch that next. The link is right there. I am not a financial advisor. Everything I share here is for educational purposes only. Always speak to a qualified professional before making financial decisions. Take care of your money. I will see you in the next one.